came off with a knock in the Brighton game. So he was already carrying a knock going into the international camp. Firstly, do you think it was the right decision to release him? Because we've seen Cole Palmer was held back. We've seen other players were held back, and we've seen that Palmer's in full training now. And you get me? Odegaard's there with his feet up.
Bro, like I think I speak for everyone. Yeah, obviously, I'll never say a man shouldn't go and represent his nation. It's the highest honor. It's all of that. I'm sure Odegaard wanted to go, and I'm sure they passed him off medically fit. But as you just said there, you know, Palmer's pulled out. He's training with with his team. All the others have pulled out. It feels like It feels like everybody is bypassing the rules, but us. Like obviously, Odegaard, he's injured. Unfortunately, we had the Calafiori thing before. You're just looking at Declan Rice and Saka and thinking, do you know what? You don't need 100% attendance, man. We shouldn't have allowed them to go. Like it feels like we're the only ones that play by the rules in that regard. So yeah, Odegaard should have stayed at yard, bro. 100% he should have stayed at yard. It's a madness.
The Calafiori one, you get me. There was no injury. He went to Italy, and obviously that was an unfortunate one. You get me. It was very like the way Dembele stepped on his back foot.
It's a crazy one, really. It's a bit like the Moreno one in that, like, you can't predict those things. It's just a madness.
You get me? But that Odegaard injury now, he's out of Tottenham. You get me? They're saying 3 weeks, which means he's out of Man City as well, blood. You understand? We spoke on the last ep saying that going into this run of 3 away games, Tottenham, Atalanta, and then City away, that this could determine the outcome of the season or play a big part in what happens when it comes to crunch time. How are you feeling going into this period of games, knowing that this first game we go into with no Rice, no Odegaard in the midfield, Jorginho and Partey on the transition?
Blood. Troopz, it's sounding mad. I can't lie to you. It's sounding mad. Obviously, it's definitely not ideal. It makes you a bit nervous. Personally, for the Spurs game, I think there's enough out there. I don't expect it to be pretty. Of course, I'd like a stronger team, but I think there's more than enough to get a result. I don't think we're going to enjoy the football. I think there's going to be serious issues in that regards, but I feel there's enough to go ahead. Obviously, where you just said there, the City game is peak. Like it is peak. Then you've got the Atalanta one in between. The Spurs game, I think we can get away with it. Right now in September, what can I say, Troopz? It's not ideal, man. Like you said, even if it doesn't make or break the season, a bit like December last year, this could be one where you look back in May and say, oh, you know, was the damage done there? And as you said on the last show, bro, like life is coming at us very fast. Like life is coming at us during the international break very fast. I'm of the belief now, I got to get on with it. I've got sympathy for us as fans. I've got sympathy for the players. I don't really have sympathy for Mikel Arteta and Edu in specific relation to the injuries, bro, because me, you, everybody has said we've got one of the smallest squads. Now, unfortunately, there are some unfortunate injuries, but you play with fire, you get burnt, bro. How much time you gonna put your hand in the fire and be surprised that you hurt yourself? Come on, man. It's crazy, bro. It's scary. It's scary. I'm choosing to be optimistic, and you know what? When you're backed against a corner or up against a wall, fam, you have to fight back in it. So I hope the players can step up, man. Like we've got no choice, bro. We genuinely got no choice now, Troopz, man.
This is the thing as well, yeah. Is that the Norway man, the Norway coach has said, well, the Norway doctors have said that it's 3 weeks minimum. That's not how long he's out. It could be more, blood.
Arsenal tax, you know, he might not come back in 3 weeks.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So this could go on for even longer than we need it to, than we hope it does. You get me? Because they're saying ankle injuries, you need at least 3 weeks, bro. You understand? He's walking without, he's walking on crutches, and he doesn't have a shoe on as well, blood. That's the key thing as well.
Hella swelling as well.
You understand? And even on that flight, the flight might, even though it's a short flight, could add on a little bit of swelling as well, being up in the air, blood. We know, you understand what happens when you're up in the air and you got a little swelling, blood. It could inflammate it a little more, blood. But bro, it's not looking good, but I'm not gonna lie, fam, because if like, let's say, okay, cool, they've said 3 weeks, yeah. So watch this, yeah. Watch this here, yeah. Them said 3 weeks, yeah.
Fam.
So where are we now? 15th of September, yeah. So 3 weeks would be It'd be 5th of. So he'd miss every game up until the next international break, blood. So he misses City. He misses. Let me go further up. He misses Tottenham, Atalanta, City, Bolton, Leicester, PSG, Southampton. Yeah, so he'd miss that run of games. And if it is worse, brother, look who's at. Look who's October 27th, blood. You understand?
And the week after that as well. Like, boy.
You feel me? It gets techie, bro. Newcastle, Inter.
Like, yeah, that whole little 4 period you're hovering around, bro.
Look at that, blood. Look. You hear me? You know, when they say hell, you're entering hell, blood. You understand? You know, when they say blood clot, this is hell in a cell, fam.
Bro, trust, like, this is life has come at us fast. You're hoping Mikel Moreno's back them times as well. But worst case scenario, if them two, you know, they're longer out, then boy, what do we do? And I don't want to do the hindsight thing. Everyone's a genius in hindsight, but it goes back to the last episode, or even the one with Dan Potts, where we asked the question, where's the depth, bro?
A man are saying 7 out of 10 transfer window. We being serious, blood.
This is why I said it's a 5, maybe a 6. I give it a 6 for getting decent money for Eddie, but you're lying to yourself if you say we've got enough depth. You know, I sound like a broken record. Mikel Arteta said back in March, April, we've got one of the smallest squads. Now, generally, he's got some players in this summer that he trusts and got some players that are not part of it out, but yeah, man, like it's not great, really. Like, away from me emotionally liking Smith Rowe, cool, he needed to leave, and Fabio, you're not levels, but you have to ask the question: was it the wisest thing? Now, everyone's a genius in hindsight, but you could see these things. Like, and again, our fittest midfielder right now is Mr. Thomas Partey. I don't want to be doom and gloom, but are you going to be shocked, Troopz, if he gets a knock? You're not going to.
He just played 180 minutes for Ghana.
See what I'm saying?
I'm even worried about him being able to handle the first half.
This is it. Him and Jorginho have 90 minutes in there, much less the next 3 weeks. And I don't doubt the boys. I think the boys will stand up to be counted. It's the squad. But this is what I mean by, like, are we exhausting all of our options in a positive sense? Are we covering every base where we need to cover before we talk about City? We're inventing our own problems, man. We're playing with fire. And then, obviously, as you know, the players that are staying fit, bro, you're kind of having to wrap them in cotton wool. And you can't. You got 2 games a week, 3 games every 10 days now. Shit's real now, bro.
We're playing a game. We're playing what? 3 games a week.
You see
until we could play 3 games a week here until I think it is December if we get through in the Carabao.
January Champions League still about as well. The League Cup against Bolton, like even that, like Raya has to play because Neto can't.
Yeah, like we said that the transfer window was poor. They never done enough when it came to the incomings. We applauded them for the money they got for the other striker, the money they got for Smith Rowe. Didn't want to sell Smith Rowe though, you get me? But if you're going to do that and get rid of Fabio, get rid of Lokonga, get rid of El Neni, get rid of all of the bench basically, yeah, where you can, okay, cool, we can, you get me? You might could do a job for 10 minutes at least, innit? You understand? You have to bring something in as well, blood, to replace that. We have been left bare, blood. And I said...
The fridge has been raided, bro. There's barely even milk and bread there.
Before Odegaard even got the injury, didn't I say that, yo, imagine Odegaard gets injured on this international break. We're finished. Now look, blood, it's actually happened.
Bro, and this is the thing, like all of us Arsenal fans, obviously in the summer, we're talking about central midfield, strikers, wingers, but we all said if something happens to Odegaard, we're in issues. Now, many Arsenal fans say, oh, who could you get to replace Martin Odegaard? That's cool, you know, that he's a great player, but can you have a plan B, whether that's even playing with someone in Odegaard's role, or 2, someone that like for like can do his thing? Because you're looking at someone like Kai Havertz, whether we like him or not, we still don't know going into Sunday if he's going to be deployed as a number 9, a number 10, or in that pivot. And obviously, if he moves away from up front, there's more moving pieces. And then you look at Gabriel Jesus, Sterling, Jorginho. These are good players, but do they have 90 minutes in them? Do they have 60 minutes in them? If they don't, who's coming off the bench? You know, young Ethan is going to get minutes and we back him all the way. But it's not ideal. This is not ideal 3-4 games into a season, man. Normally, we're eased into the year and then we start seeing this. But, boy.
Even, I don't know, man. That transfer window, blood, it hurt us so badly, fam. It hurt so badly,
man.
Because there's nothing, bro. Even like you're gonna get suspensions through the season, you're gonna get injuries through the season. You have to bring in reinforcements, adequate reinforcements as well, blood. We lose Odegaard, we're looking at Ethan, who hasn't played Premier League football.
And you have to give him that luxury to make mistakes and be a young player, if I'm honest.
And the game you're looking to bring him into is a North London derby away from home.
Baptism of fire. Could make or you know what? I don't even know if I would start him. A part of me wants to, but a part of me don't think it's fair. But technically, if he's part of the squad, you're part of the squad. The age thing is kind of irrelevant in that regards. Like technically, I think he's there. Tactically and obviously physically, and the pace of the game, you're asking a lot, man. I'll back him, but
what about
it's not ideal.
Because that game, you need a lot of mental strength.
This is it. But he might be naive though. He might, like, if I put myself in a positive way, if I put myself in his shoes, you might just be gassed about playing for Arsenal. I'm getting a start. You might just air it really. Like some experienced more players crumble, and that's what I'm hoping for. But like you said, it's not ideal, bro. You would like him to, back him to start. Best case scenario, you'd like him to come off the bench and all of those things. But we're in trouble, man. We're in trouble. Like obviously Declan Rice will be back after the City game. But other than that, boy, and then again, you've got to wrap Partey and Cotton Wool. We hope Partey can't get injured or doesn't get injured better yet. Other than that, I don't know what you do. Do you put Timber in midfield? Some Arsenal fans have spoken about Calafiori.